All right, what's up, broskies and
Hey.
broshies? Welcome.
Bro sheets.
Yeah, dude, everybody's a bro.
It's true.
It is.
True.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Welcome to the channel. It's our Synthwave Guitar Palace, and we're going to
Yeah.
talk specifically about the NAMM 2021 release of the Ibanez Headless guitars, which apparently are called the Q series.
The Q series.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Josh, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah. I just saw this. I thought it was really interesting. I've owned a couple of Ibanez guitars.
You've been had.
I have been had. I've been had.
I've been
You've
had.
been had. We've all been had. Also, hey, cheers.
Cheers,
Drinking
brother.
What are you drinking?
This is Buffalo Trace.
Oh, right on. Will it rye?
Sponsor.
Oh, here we go. So, yeah, can we get
Sponsored.
sponsorship?
From two
Anything?
randomly different fucking companies.
Anyway, yeah, so I saw this and I thought it was really interesting because it seemed to me, so this whole headless thing has been hitting for the last 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah. So this has been kind of a weird thing for me because whenever I think of a headless guitar, I think of one thing and one thing only, and
Okay.
it's the guitars that Bill and Ted get at the end of the first movie.
The Steinbergers.
Yep, that's
Yeah, the Steinbergers.
that is my one and only reference point to a headless guitar. I think I put my filthy meat hooks on maybe one, maybe two headless guitars, and I probably picked them up and fretted for a millisecond. Was like, wow, that was nice. It is so far outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really.
Well,
but,
man, it's definitely more touted as and thought of more as a metal, instrument, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Steinberger was they were way ahead of the game.
Dude.
They kind of started the game and then they disappeared. Gibson bought them apparently, and then they, and then people came back around to it. So
yeah. So I guess I should say too, with the headless guitars, I mean, you would see, ironically, like in the later 80s when they were kind of like falling out of like being the cool hot shit, you would see them in like weird pop synth bands, right? Because they had that like, let's all wear black and wear this like weird guitar style. The same type of bands that would rock a guitar would also maybe rock a completely headless.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
yeah. Where there was a guitar, a headless guitar was right around the corner.
Yeah.
For
so
sure.
like that's almost more of a touch point for me than the metal side of it.
Okay.
But yeah,
it wasn't. When the whole Steinberger thing hit, it really didn't catch on with metal bands. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I think David Gilmour from Pink Floyd played a Steinberger for a little bit. That was one guy. Buck Dharma from Blue Oyster Cult. He was a big Steinberger guy.
Okay, interesting.
So I mean, it was in the rock crowd, but I don't think any of the '80s metal guys. Oh, Vito Bratta from White Lion.
Mm-hmm.
He was one guy.
One guy.
That's like it. So it wasn't anything like now where you just have tons of metal players, going to this headless thing.
So in general, have you played a fair amount?
I have played. I've actually played 3 different ones. I've known 2 different gentlemen that had them. And I came really close to buying a used one. I kind of wish I would have. It was a Kiesel.
You know what? I have played a Kiesel one also.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, they're definitely the most. I would say they're the most readily available ones on the market. They made a ton of them, and they're really great guitars. Every one that I played has just been fantastic.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, it's cool. I think it's a cool trend. Sometimes in the music land, you get into these weird trends where it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of like flavor of the week, but these things kind of seem to have some staying power. So
yeah.
I guess with that, I've just been kind of thrown off that Ibanez hasn't jumped into the game sooner.
Okay.
It kind of almost looked like they took an Apple or a Mac approach with it, where they're like, we're gonna let everybody else get the kinks worked out, and then we're gonna jump in and we're gonna do it right. You know? So yeah, they've got this new model. What do you think of the look?
Well, dude, it's different. So I need to actually kind of like dive in a little bit more because I grabbed this image to throw it on here just so people would know. Kind of, this is like the one that when I clicked on Ibanez's site about the series, this was like their one. So I don't know if this is flagship, it's definitely one of the production run ones. So I'm assuming it's one of the like more higher end Japanese ones, but it might not be.
I think it is.
What are we coming in at pricing? I'm assuming that since it's Ibanez, these are going to be closer to the accessible side than like a Kiesel. Even though Kiesel's guitars are phenomenal value, I'm still guessing that you can get one of these from Ibanez, maybe a non-quilted maple top or something. I'm guessing you can land in one of these for like $600 or $700. I don't know if that's true.
Well, the prices that I saw were right around $1,000.
Okay, sure.
They're right around a G.
Adjust for what guitars cost now, apparently, and we're right there. But I feel like $1,000 is like reasonable for this, because like there is some fucking weird manufacturing stuff that goes into making a guitar like this. It is different.
And it's got
especially
some
when you're Ibanez.
Yeah, for sure, because they have all their stuff very standardized. I mean, it's all,
so they're planning on probably building these things for at least a good bit. If I'm guessing if Ibanez is putting out these models and they've got all the tooling like this and stuff, they're probably going to be making these models for like 5 years or so, at least.
They're getting into it. They're getting into it. Yeah, for sure. It's not just one. It's like, I think there's like 4 or 5 models.
And in a bit, I'll pull up the Ibanez page, and we can like kind of scroll through and see what it shows. I didn't even scroll all the way down on the page.
Okay.
The one thing I will say is I've always actually been a fan of their Edge system. I'm pretty sure it's called the Edge, right? They are Floyd, right? And it looks like this has their version of a headless Edge system on it.
They always do their proprietary stuff.
And it looks like there might be a kind of different way that the ball ends attach to the headstock.
They've got
headstock's a weird word, but it does have like a small headstock on it.
We're gonna call that a head nub. How about that?
Okay, yeah. The nub is like, it has a head.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
And I've even seen some manufacturers, it doesn't look like they did it here, but some manufacturers are even putting like small wings that you can kind of fold out to where you can put it on a guitar hook.
Oh, okay. That's fucked up. Like, so are they metal wings, or are they just wood that
No, and I should say that I've only seen that on 1 or 2. So I think it's a specialized thing. Yeah. Are you getting attacked? Are you getting bug attacked?
I might have been. So for everyone watching, I saw a bug in my general vicinity, and it keeps coming in and out of view. So I'm tweaking out a little. But that's okay. We'll just tweak out, and if there's a point in time where I just literally flip my shit, enjoy the content.
It'll be entertaining nonetheless.
Oh my! I promise it will. I will freak the fuck out.
So. We can get into just a little bit of what I kind of noticed right up front.
Yeah. So let's get into it, because this does look a little different than some of the other headless I've seen. So
it is. Let's talk about that. They've taken a bit of a different approach. And for the $1,000 guitars that I saw, I guess first of all I'll start with the pickup. So generally Ibanez, they've been into this thing where they're working with DiMarzio and they're working with Seymour Duncan a lot.
Yeah.
I had one of their AZ guitars, and they had these phenomenal Seymour Duncan pickups in them.
Yeah.
They're not doing that with these. I noticed at least on the $1,000 range, they've got their own proprietary ceramic magnet, at least for the humbucker.
Interesting.
Pickups. So they're just Ibanez pickups.
Did they talk about voicing at all? Like what are they gain, like high output, or are they like low output?
I would assume that they are in that kind of rock fusion area, so they're not super high output, they're not super low. That's what the AZ Seymour Duncans were like, and they were very pleasant. This is the whole. So Ibanez is saying that the whole reason that they put these guitars out was because they sponsored some Japanese artists, which I'm actually not familiar with. So this is all like, when they released the AZs, they had the Martin Miller, and there was another guy that they released as basically signature models, but they were pretty much just production models.
They were both YouTubers, right?
Exactly, they were both YouTubers. Yeah. There was a German guy, and then there was Dan Quayle. Yes, so it was Martin Miller and
both
Quayle.
of them are thick guitars.
Oh, they're freaks.
I remember
when
they came out. That's actually what made me watch those channels.
Exactly.
And I listened to them play. I was like, dude, they can rip.
Disgusting tone and technique.
Yeah.
They were killers.
Very cool.
I'm pretty sure this Japanese guy's probably the same way. I couldn't imagine
sure.
them.
I can't imagine you can get a guitar sig from Ibanez and not be fucking rad. So
yeah.
Good on them. That's rad.
Anyway, so yeah, pickups are proprietary. It looks like maybe not on the prestige, signature line, top scale stuff, but on the $1,000 series, which is what most people will be buying, it looks like they're proprietary. Yeah. You gotta take that real quick.
Getting blown up.
And the other thing that I noticed, I mean, it's got cool styling. The pick guard's kind of cool, but the other thing that I noticed was that instead of doing a true like fanned fret multi-scale design, which is what a lot of people are doing, and instead of doing that on this guitar, and by the true like fan fret multi-scale, what I mean is that on the low side, you'll generally have a longer scale, so say 26.5 inches, 27 inches. On the high side, you'll have 25.5 inches maybe, or maybe 24 3/4, depending on what it is.
Okay, yeah.
On this, instead, what they did was, it is actually just, as far as I understand, it's 25.5 inch scale.
Okay.
And they literally just put the nut at an angle. So
I see that.
So every fret, it's not two different scale lengths. It's one scale length. The frets are just slanted. Which is I've seen it before, but I definitely don't see it as often in this whole headless guitar world. I think Kiesel basically decided that everybody else was going to have to follow suit and do the multi-scaled thing. So with that, I don't think this is going to play to the super low drop tuning market.
It's not built for like the extended
it's really not.
Guys.
So they
it even has single coils on it.
Exactly.
I don't think of that when I think of that type of player.
Yeah,
it could be a genre preconception I have.
Well, I think this, again, like I said, I think they're playing to that whole fusion crowd, the guys that like that, Mark Miller, Dan Quayle kind of thing, and they are making a 7-string version with 2 humbuckers, and they are actually making just not slanted, fret instruments. They're making standard necked instruments for this Headless series too.
Okay.
They're covering all their bases.
So this is a pretty big series then.
Oh, it is.
As we'll get to.
It is for sure.
When we scroll through the page, I guess I'll learn.
Quick. Let me turn my light up. It's kind of got dark on me all of a sudden.
I think it's cool for Ibanez to get to a point where they're comfortable, instead of releasing like a one-off, let's see if this works, like they're going in full force then with this.
Oh, I think they know the market. I think they know their market, and I think this is going to kill for them, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's so far out of the type of guitar I would usually snag, but like it's that Ocean Burst I'm looking at is a very like eye-popping burst. And if you're playing a headless guitar, like you're playing it because you want people to look at your guitar. Like that's a thing. I mean, they're doing a really cool thing around the horn. Down there with like a real scallop look, and that's kind of mirrored down by the bridge. So like 2 different places to put your strap. So whatever.
And a lot of them are doing that. I don't really know why, but one other thing that I thought was interesting about this series, and an interesting kind of design preference for the guys at Ibanez, was actually it's more of an S body shape.
Yeah. I was actually going to say earlier, it reminds me way more of a Saber that someone took a real big chunk out of in different places.
Yes. Yeah. Shave that bottom horn and cut that backside out. But like I thought for this, they would have gone with something a bit more edgy, like the RG or something.
A little bit thicker, pointier type thing.
Exactly. But
I mean, maybe that's the opposition to the Kiesel thing, because when I think of Kiesel bodies, I know they have like a bunch in different series, but I do think of those Kiesel bodies being a little bit more RG, thicker, like more like weight to them, where like if you ever played a Saber body, like they're, especially the more modern ones for like 2000s on, like they're like slim. They're like the belly cut.
And I'll say that some people might know you're actually throwing out the name that Ibanez used for it back when it came out.
Oh, sorry.
In the 80s, 90s. So it's the S series.
Yeah, the S series.
It was called the Saber.
So right. So the S series, the S stands for Saber. It's their strat-ish, straight shaped, you know, S-shaped object style thing. Right. You know.
Yeah.
So sorry to confuse the two. I kind of use them interchangeably. Because
I mean, like you're familiar with it, yeah,
because it's that line, that tradition of that line just seems to hold true when you look at it, and there's been massive changes throughout it, but so let's
I was gonna say just one more thing. I know that we're getting there, but
yes.
It does have and we can actually, let's go ahead and go to the page. Yeah, let's check the page. I was gonna say the other thing that I can say is it has the new Ibanez switching system in it, which I had on the AZ as well, and I think they're calling it the M10 switching system.
Okay.
And so you'll see a mini toggle switch in between the volume and tone, and then you also have a 5-way switch, and that basically gives you 2 variations per position on the 5-way switch. So so you effectively get 10 different tones.
That's kind of like a different way to go about how all those new Fishman Fluence pickups are doing, where they have the push-pull, and it's like you have, here's the modern voicing, you pull it and you get a vintage voicing. I wonder if it's kind of their way to do something like that. I'm assuming these are passive pickups, but like
they are passive.
Maybe do them, or is it just that they're combinations where if like you've got the thing flipped, you can do your one half of your bridge pickup and a neck and get that twingy thing. Is it more of a S1 strat style switch?
It kind of is, in that what they've done is, if I remember correctly, they added a capacitor in on that. So like it's weird. It's weird because you're not getting like it on some switches, it's like it's some switches it's throwing it out of phase, and some switches it's cutting out one pickup altogether, or it's like, in this it was actually a blending of things. It was like they'd found a way with the capacitor in there to kind of blend different variations of pickups and stuff. So it was
that's cool.
It was really interesting. There were a few different combinations that way with that engage that I really liked. So
that's cool. I'm trying to vibe this, see if I can get all of them on there. So here's all the models. They all start with Q. I know we're getting a little bit of a bottom chopped off, but like let's see if I can do one more there. Okay, it's kind of zoomed out, so it might be hard to see, but no. So Q52 through QX527PB. Okay, Ibanez, like it's time.
They get dumb
doing this shit.
They get dumb.
Honest to God, Ibanez, like please stop the fucking Q52. Okay, people might, they're not going to remember that. They're just going to call it the Headless
They're seriously not.
But if you called it the what could Q stand for? The Quack.
Yes.
I don't know why it'd be that. But I mean, just
Quasar.
Give it a. You remember Qzar, the laser tag place? Anybody remember that? That's a deep reference.
Oh my God! Yeah,
I think you might have to live in Indiana and maybe in my hometown to know what Qzar. It was laser tag. It was a really rad laser tag in the early '90s. That's
I remember that. That was off 135, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was.
Dude. I got you. Dude, check out the top on that 7 string.
This burl top on the 7 string is that's sick as fuck.
Check the pickups on that, because those look like bare knuckles.
They look just like bare knuckles.
Those look just like bare knuckles.
Yeah, so let's see what they're saying. So here's the back. Before I go to the pickups, like that's cool.
Yeah, that is.
And it is a thin ass body.
Yes, the neck. Okay, that's cool.
It looks like a 5-piece.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I was looking for that on the Strandberg guitars. They've got this like flat spot that runs up. It kind of starts at the low side at the headstock and kind of curves down and then comes to the high side. I was looking to see if Ibanez did something like that, but they didn't. So it's kind of, I think that's more standard fare, for Ibanez.
So to actually get in the weeds about the guitar here, I'm going to zoom in for us.
Sure.
Kind of like what you were saying. Oh, come on, Ibanez. So the radius is 508 millimeters. Seriously, tell me what that is in the fucking standard Americanized system. Like, I know it's Japanese, and that's a way more accurate way to measure it. I get all of that, but in Guitar Talk, we yeah, it's 508.
I'm pretty sure that's like.
Is it a 10 and a half?
I want
12.
15.
Oh, it's that. Okay, 15. It's that deep. Yeah.
Hold on a second. Oh wait. Oh wow. I think it's super flat. I think it's more like 20.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super flat.
Dude, that's flat.
That's super flat.
Interesting. It's really interesting then if it is that flat that they took. You know, they didn't go the whole extended range thing on the with the fan frets and shit like that, but then the board on that is like really, really gonna be a shell shock for a lot of guitarists. That if you're picking that up because you're like, oh, it's like on this specific model. This is the 7-string model, so we should probably look at one of the ones that's built for normies that doesn't have fan frets or anything. It just doesn't have a head, and see if they use that same radius. But I'm guessing
curious,
they do.
Man. I did not see that coming, honestly.
I didn't know they used their own frets or this company's frets. I just always assumed they were Dunlop. They're not, apparently.
This is new for them because I have actually not seen very many companies using Yeskers. I use Yeskers on all of the guitars that I've refretted and the guitars that I've built. I put Yesker frets on all of them because they do really good stainless steel.
Oh, okay.
These are actually the Evo Gold fret, which is a different composition. So it's actually hypoallergenic.
Oh, hell yeah.
It doesn't have any nickel in it, as far as from what I remember. More like steel. It's not quite as hard as steel, but it's definitely not as soft as nickel either.
Okay.
So it's somewhere in between there. It's got that gold look to it, which is kind of flashy again.
Yeah.
You're playing the headless guitar.
You're flashing. You're blinging out of control on this shit.
Exactly. And I gotta say too, like most Ibanez's, I want to say they're in that 14 to 16 inch radius.
Yeah.
And so
AZ was the step away from that, right? Like wasn't it like a 12?
I believe so, yeah. I'm very comfortable still, but like it was 12. Yeah.
So this is the reason I love the way Ibanez bodies feel, but I cannot hang onto a neck. Even I play a neck that's a compound that gets down to 16. That's too flat for my comfort level with how bad I am at guitar. That V that I built started out as 16 and then went to 20 at the 12th fret. And let me tell you something, that was flat. That's flat as fuck, dude. You might as well be playing a classical neck at that point.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
It was damn near flat like a classical guitar. Like it was.
I bet you could bend it like 5 steps though.
Oh, dude, like I got literally bend it till you break it and no choking out.
Yeah, dude.
So I got to get that V back in shape. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, well, one of my favorite guitars is 7 1/4 radius. So like going from that to a 20 is that's a fucking thing.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, so this is the 7-string with and it looks like they're only doing this cool ass top.
The slanted and with the poplar burl. Yeah. So that looks rad. I gotta say that's a sexy looking top.
Oh, dude, that top is. I love Ibanez burl tops when they do their natural stuff.
Yep.
Looks
cool.
Great. It looks like you could grab it and play some 5-finger death punch and just go to town.
Why?
All right, so where's the normie? I'm gonna click on the normie.
That one. Yeah,
this is the normie. This is the one. If I was gonna play, it was gonna be this. By the way, I still won't.
And that's
but, like,
can you like? So that looks great. That's like
I like the finish. I like the roasted maple on it. It looks like it's even a bird's eye roasted maple, which
it might be.
I'm not used to seeing.
Can we look at the neck spec real quick and just see what they're making the fretboard out of? I assume that's roasted maple.
So roasted maple and bubinga, 3-piece.
Oh, cool. That's a 3-piece neck, and then they've got for the board it is roasted maple.
Hey, what's 305? That radius dropped by 203.
Oh, dude, that's probably like a 14 or something like that.
Okay, so that gets you back in the range of like, being closer to like your.
It's actually wow, it's 12.
It's a 12. Okay, so that
12.
You could grab that and be like, oh, I'm playing a Les Paul without a head.
Yeah. Okay. So folks,
12 is a Les Paul.
Yeah, 12 is a Les Paul. This is meant for all your fusion players and all your guys that just want to play some rock and stuff. Like the 7-string was a straight up metal monster.
It was a Dunka Dunka. But the curious thing is, it looks like and we've qualified.
The same.
No, they're different.
They're different. Oh, okay.
They're different. They're built the same. They're both passive ceramic. But that last pickup said Q57. This is Q58. So they did tune the pickups different, even though they're still both ceramic. Whatever.
Yep.
I bet these are a little less hot. And it wouldn't surprise me if they have a little bit more flubby bass end either. Now, haven't played the guitar, haven't seen the guitar, haven't smelt the guitar. I'm just guessing if they thought ahead enough to go, okay, let's drop the radius, let's do these things. I bet those pickups are going to be a lot closer to like, their passive ceramic. I bet they're going to feel a lot more like a DiMarzio Super Distortion than the 7 strings did.
Yep.
Because you ceramic pickups and stuff.
It's speculation, but I'm sure you're right on point.
So we were talking. It is complete speculation. Here we're talking about the switching.
Yes.
Here's the diagram.
Yep.
They actually lay it out. So very normal Ibanez switching in the off position. It's like the Ibanez 5-way thing.
Yep.
And then when it kicks on.
Yep.
Yeah, it just does funky
and
stuff.
I'm telling you, it's if they did it the same way as the AZ, it's the go down please.
Yeah.
Check that out. Yeah, the Dynamix 10 switching. So yes, that's the same thing. It's not just as straightforward as it's like canceling out certain pickups and whatnot. There's something in there. I believe it's a resistor.
Yeah.
That gives you a bit of a different thing.
Which is cool because like we all know when you're tapping pickups, you. A tapped, like if you have a 2 humbucker guitar and you go to the middle, or let's say the position 4 on this, or 2, however you want to fucking talk about it, but basically you're using either the inside or the outside coils together. That is a much thinner sound than if you were on a Strat or a Tele and doing that same exact pickup combination. Because when you split that humbucker, it just doesn't have the same like love and stuff. So I bet if you kick on that Ultra switch, you can do that same type of vibe sometimes, but maybe you'll get that sound that might be even closer to it. It's really cool to thin out your pickup sometimes. Sometimes that can be rad.
It is, yeah.
But so some of these, they even have a neck half, just one coil of your neck humbucker and one coil of your bridge humbucker if you want to go like really, really, really close to playing a single coil guitar. I'd be curious to mess around with it and see how it sounds, especially on a ceramic. Because the AZ stuff's not ceramic pickups, right? It's Alnico's. Or are they?
You know what? I cannot remember. I want to say they're Alnico 5s, but wrong.
I feel like when you're splitting pickups on Alnico's, that's a different vibe than when you're switching pickups on a ceramic.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's not bad. It's just different.
It's just different.
So
I hear you.
Yeah.
So
that's really cool. I think this has been a pretty decent rundown of that series. Obviously, until we get our hands on some of them, we can't like give any of those thoughts. But as far as looking at the specs and walking through it, that's a pretty decent little run through. I'm curious just because it's a new thing coming out with guitars, and that's cool. And I'm curious to see if Ibanez is like, are we going to get an ESP or an LTD? Like, how many of the brands that we associate with being geared more to the heavy are going to follow trend if Ibanez is successful? I think if we see Ibanez successful, we'll see LTDs like this.
100%. Yeah, I'm super like surprised that we haven't seen the ESPs and the Schechters and whatnot, Deans
Especially
of the
Schechters.
world.
Yeah,
Especially Schechters. Like, I mean, but like, I'm really surprised. But yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool, and this thing looks hot. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm eager to kind of get my hands on one too because I love the AZ. I'm gonna get one again at some point.
Yeah.
I had it, sold it. It just wasn't like. The color just didn't really jive with me, and I got it for a good deal. That's why I bought it. But great guitars. So
cool.
Seriously.
Well, so that'll kind of wrap it up for this. If you happen to be watching live, there may be a kind of extra innings stream. Not sure. Just watch, hit the little subscribe button, hit the like, the comment, do all the YouTube bullshit for us.
You get that notification.
If we go live,
hit that notification bell.
It'll be not on one single topic. We'll probably talk more about NAMM shit we've seen and go off on the, take those tracks home and then see where it leads us. So until then, thank you so much for watching and check us out next time. Peace. Be well.